Good evening. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Tuesday, and this is the evening of December 10th, 2024. Well, we're going to have a lot of information, but get ready for those words that I kept hearing all day. As I always have my TVs on, I flip between stations. Loss of upside momentum, loss of upside momentum. And that's what you had. A lot of red on things, be it NVDA, be it Amazon down for a change. You have market after market that was giving something back. Did I see crashes? Oracle. We'll cover that in a minute. That had a big break, and NVIDIA had the bigger break also. MU had a good size break in it, but that happens. Now, why? Well, let me get into that with you. What you're going to have tomorrow is the mortgage bankers number come out, but then we get the first round of real important U.S. numbers. CPI, PPI comes out on Thursday, and they're looking for very sticky numbers. These numbers are not down numbers. Now, they could come in weak. These are just projections of where they're coming in, and the expectation, we'll find out. We're going to get petroleum stock estimates, but we had some bad news too. The bad news came out where Nippon Steel is not going to be able to get U.S. steel. It sounds as though President Biden is going to go out of office in favor of not allowing that. And he's got a background of saying that he didn't want that to happen. We'll have to hear what the commission comes out with and what they had recommended. But if the president says no at this time, and the word is at this time, then it's no. Then we saw that Kroger and Albertson, that got thrown out of the water by a judge also. These guys, I think they're too big to get that done. I didn't think it would ever happen. I still don't. It's funny because living in Chicago, we have Jewel and we have a subsidiary, if you will, of Kroger called Mariano's, local but very large. And now they've announced tonight they're calling off any attempts for those 35 stores to be sold that was going to be taken over by Jewel in the city. So you just look at what's going on. Those are unwinding there. And you look at Boeing. Now, Boeing came alive today. Why? Because they've gone back to really manufacturing the 737, their real moneymaker, and the stock, once they heard that in November they were back on the line and they're going to start delivering and the numbers of deliveries will go up, well, the stock jumped into the mid-160s. So this is a stock that had been playing down at 130, and now you're back up nicely in it. And like I said before, you get big companies, they're hard to put away. How many times have automakers gone broke, to give you an example? It seems every 5 to 8 years something happens and they need rescuing. I'm just making this up. It could be a little longer, but that's what it seems like. You have one huge manufacturer of airplanes in the United States. Do you think under Trump they're going away? I've said that to you for 6 months. As this whole problem, maybe a year as it's gone on, I said they'll work through it, and I do believe that. Plus, they need to work through their problems. The culture has to change there. So no, I'm not yelling at you, run out, buy everything you can. That isn't what I'm saying. But I am saying don't get overly bearish that stock. That I have said over and over. Now, I put out a special report, and a lot of you have taken advantage by going on our website at iraepstein.com, and right at the top you'll see this area right there. Give it a click. And this break you're getting in the stock market, in the indices, fits exactly in with what's in my report. And I'll let it go at that. You take it from there as to what it is. Do I think Santa's going to come? I do. I don't think there's a lot of changes there. But we have to get through an awful lot in the marketplace. Now, as I said, you've got all this coming at you, and then you've got, in addition now, you've got to have next week the FOMC meeting. You've got bank meetings galore, the Bank of Canada, Brazil's central bank. You've got on Thursday the European Central Bank and the Swiss National Bank. Then after that, you got the Bank of Japan and the Bank of England. Everybody's setting monetary policy right now. And then you get away from what causes this market to do these things at this time of the year, which is year-end tax selling, planning, moving around of assets, moving money from one place to the other. What do you want to pay tax on? What do you want to do your best to avoid paying taxes on? A lot of planning goes on here. Uranium's still stuck in this $30 area, not doing much. Up $7 in Boeing, as I said. You can see that one. Microsoft backing off a little bit. And, you know, Alphabet doing well. And you're hearing about all these new chips that are coming out and how these companies are really believing the good that they're going to do. Google's got one of those, and that's going to happen. There's going to be pressure on NVIDIA as some of these other chips come to life, all right? That's what this is all about. Now, are those chips ready for the public? Probably not. Are those chips the first stages of development? They certainly are. Will they work? I think they will. Will they take computing to a level we've never seen? I think you can count on that. I love the idea, and I heard this today, and I don't see why somebody isn't doing it with Musk, and using SpaceX to go up into space and find a way to manufacture in that sub-cold, or put up AI centers in the sub-cold and use his beaming method to get things done. You know, it's beyond me, but this is the stuff of science fiction, and it can, in theory, be done. And boy, what a place to do it up there. All right. So let's take a look at where we're at and understand what happened with Oracle. And I mentioned it yesterday. I said in the aftermarket, they were getting beaten up. So now you came in with the break and you filled this gap. Understand what the market did. I think over time, it's not a problem to fill that gap. Charts have a way of filling gaps. Do they have to? No. But does it happen often? Real often. That's the first thing. Number two, once you broke through this and you just gapped through it, you took the trend apart. This was the momentum trend up. Let me just walk you into it. And that's called a momentum trend. But it didn't begin there. It began all the way back here in August. And this is when this stock was in the neighborhood of $135. And the market went up near 200. So you get pauses along the way. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with their business. That's the first thing. Did they miss? It depends what you define as miss. They had missed revenue and sales and bottom line, yeah, by about 1%. Okay, but when you compare where their numbers were to what was a year ago, they're not in bad shape at all. But you've got to understand, when you go up this much, the market is unforgiving. You either hit and beat, like I showed you in the video. We were talking, I said, folks, at 150 a share, when you get a multiple 38, you got a problem. Okay, it's got to be perfection, and it won't be. So the market's got to go into stall periods, and that's when you cut your positions down. That's at least what I believe. And you try to hold for the big, longer play. How you do it, that's up to you. That's why I have a subscription service. People come to me for that. We discuss it in the mornings, every morning, Monday through Friday, and over the weekend, coming up with ideas. And yes, my subscribers can write me, and I answer their questions. I was doing it today. I devote a certain amount of time each day that if I get questions, I will get to them and answer them right to you. And often I'm creating a video or capturing picture images to send on to answer that for you. First of all, I like it. So that helps me a lot. That isn't tradable right now, so you've stepped out of the momentum. That's what is called lost momentum. Do I think you'll quickly climb back into the Bollinger Band? Yep. When you were up here yesterday, what did I say? I said, nope. Okay, I think the pros take money off against Bollinger Bands, up or down. Momentum? Nah, you were going up. It's now pointing down. It's not oversold. It's not overbought. I don't see anything there. In retail sales, okay, if this market can clear 84.64, I see it moving on to the 86.17 level. If it can't clear that, you could fall back right through here. But in order to do that, you got to lose this bullish embedded reading. Now, the market tried to do that. Let me show you something. This is so important. So right here, the market, it's got an 84 reading, and all of a sudden you have a reading of 77.46. I know that came over it, I'm sorry. So it lost the reading. But then the very next day it gets it back, which is Friday. That means you're no longer in the bear camp. You'd have to lose the reading again, and you haven't done that. So I'm still very much in the bull camp. CrowdStrike. I know it was just yesterday I said, I think you'll be fighting a battle at this 18-day average. It's exactly what you keep doing. And I was saying to you, and look at the videos. Now, up there, I wouldn't go chasing it. I don't think you have to chase just yet. Rivian over the upper Bollinger Band. I have zero interest in my clientele paying over Bollinger Bands to get long. I'd love to see this market pull back here because it's made a statement. Until these lows are penetrated under the 10 level, I think you have a floor. And it will take something to hurt this. That something could be the Trump administration saying, no, we're not going to give that $6 billion that the Biden administration was doing with the loan to them. On the other hand, that would be highly criticized because it would look like Musk is just taking over the whole business. And speaking of that, today GM threw in the towel. They are wiping off a $2 billion investment in part, and they're moving their techs into a different type of driving for the individual, not for the cab business. I think they made a smart move. They have figured out there's too much competition. Waymo's too ahead of them. Musk is coming on doing this, and that'll be one of his main things that goes on. BYD is out there if they ever make it into America. Where are they going with this? I think they're so far behind on that driving that the dropping of the Cruise as it stood is a smart move. Move what you've got into the technologies for the GM cars. I think that'll work better, and I think they reached that. Now, Mary Barra is going to probably catch a lot of heat on that, so look for her to be interviewed soon about this decision. K-Web, look at how you just left that price up there. You just fell back. I've warned you in the danger here. The danger is bullish and bearish. Nobody knows what this committee that's in meeting now, the Congress meeting, what are they going to do to pick up the Chinese economy? They entered the meeting. The meeting's going to end, I understand, on the 12th. So today's the 10th, so that would make it Thursday. We'll see. What are they going to do? And don't go by what the Chinese press says. You got to go how the markets react to what they do, because the press will make anything they say sound grand, and then as soon as analysts see it, you get the real story of it, and that's what you're looking at to see. We know that they're talking monetary easing. We know that they want to prop up their property market. We know all these things they want to do. How are they going to do it? That becomes the big question. And by the way, when I talk China, do you have any idea how far electric cars are ahead in China of America? I'm a car guy, so I read. I mean, you are talking Model Ts here compared to what they have there. And I know you don't believe me when I say that. Read, you will see. As for designs and looks, I have not seen one, so I cannot tell you the quality. I can tell you what friends of mine that have seen that have been in them, and they say they're impressive. I remember when Hyundai and Genesis came out and people were going, oh, that's a terrible car. And I went to the car show and I had the ability to sit in the car. I said, darn it, it's the closest thing to a Bentley feel on the inside of a car that I have felt out of something. And of course, it's become a very neat car. So we'll see, all right? But I get what's happening there. Toll Brothers, whoa, weren't you and I just talking here that maybe you can get down there? I questioned it myself. I said, that's the next support zone. Well, now you're oversold, you're down there. I'd be telling you, if you're with me, cover any shorts you have if you're short. It is not a place that, because I'm a trend trader, I don't just go, oh, this is a nice low, let's buy that there, and let's that. It might be the perfect thing to do, but it's not my methodology. Let's put it that way. But I certainly wouldn't want to stay short that. And if that's no good, you know you're getting slammed in XHB. I would think that if the Fed doesn't cut rates at this meeting, it could weigh on the market. But I think that's what this is. The market is building in the worst case scenario. And in the end of the day, it's a question of how many cuts are left, not when the Fed will cut. And I think that's the way you have to approach the market. In the financial services, coming down, but I think long-term financial services are going to do just fine. This is that loss of momentum. You're on it. When that happens, don't be a hero. You can either say, I'm going to own it long term, I don't care what the chart does, or if you're a chartist, you come out and you try to come back in. Same with the industrial sector. You and I have been getting nothing but signals that have lost momentum since back here in November. And now that you're at December 10th, you're now getting worried? No, that's not the time. Energy. I just have been mentioning for the past 3 days, I think the big support's going to have to be a test here of the 200 to 100 in the Bollinger Band. You're doing it right now. If this gives ground in a big way, you got a bigger problem than energy, which is a good thing for us with inflation, but there's nothing here in this energy sector that is saying, hey, things are great. Now remember, this is the energy sector. So these are the boys that are refining the pipes and all that. And they were going up on the Trump word, and here's the economic reality of it temporarily. In the gold market, lots of world uncertainty, all right? Who knows where everything's at? I forget the Mideast, forget Ukraine. I mean, that's big time uncertainty, but uncertainty. How are the banks going to respond to everything right now? Hearing that China has decided to move back into gold in the month of November, well, that certainly kicked the market up. But if you look at what the market did, your high was 248.86, 247.83. You still held on to a good chunk of the gain today. You didn't give that much back. In silver, I think you're not going to be able to stay over the upper Bollinger Band. You're overbought. It's very hard to do that. But again, you're at the mercy of China on that news. And in copper, I said the same thing to you yesterday. Because when we looked at the copper market, we had gotten up here and I said, I don't know, it looks to me like you've gotten now right into this first time, the 100-day, the 200, and the upper Bollinger Band. And you could see the market got thrown back today. One day doesn't make me a hero. And again, if China pulls the plug and really does something very aggressive, now this market will move away from here. Then we'll be talking, can the 18-day average get all over this? I have no idea what they're going to do, and the chart's not being helpful to me on it. It's saying, come out of the market there, don't go into the market there. And it's not being bearish. BND, TLT, same arguments you're going to get. And now we get to the dollar. It doesn't get more neutral than this. You have a higher high and low. You're stuck at the 18-day average. Higher high, lower low, and pretty much stuck at the 18-day average in the euro. So you put it together. That's how I'm reading where the markets are at. Take advantage. Go to iraepstein.com. and take advantage of my special report. There is an icon up I'll have on the charts for you too. Just give that a click if you'd like. It'll take you to that section. And let me know what you think of the report. I'd like to see that. You might hate it. That's okay. I'm Ira. You take care. I'll see you tomorrow.